Europe is at a crossroads. The continent stands on the edge of a new era where old alliances are being tested and new possibilities are emerging. The choices made now could reshape the future for generations. Italy and Hungary, both long-standing members of the EU and NATO, have begun talks to join the BRICS plus economic bloc, a move that would have seemed unimaginable just a few years ago. Their willingness to engage with BRICS plus signals a dramatic departure from the status quo. This signals a seismic shift in the global order, challenging not only the West's dominance but also the very foundation of transatlantic unity that has defined Europe since World War II. The world is watching as alliances realign and new power centers emerge. For Italy, a G7 nation with deep economic and political ties to the West, the risks are immense. The decision could strain relationships with traditional allies and unsettle its position within the EU. For Hungary, it's a bold extension of its independent foreign policy, reflecting a desire to carve out a unique path on the world stage and assert its sovereignty in an increasingly multipolar world. This isn't just about trade, it's about redefining alliances, shifting loyalties, and challenging the principles that have shaped the world for decades. The implications reach far beyond economics, touching on security, identity, and the future of global cooperation. The November 2025 announcement followed months of secret diplomacy, catching the world off guard and sending shockwaves through international capitals. Few anticipated such a bold move from two Central European nations. Official letters of intent have now been sent to Russia, the current BRICS chair, triggering formal consultations and setting the stage for a new chapter in global relations. The move shatters the old notion of neat, opposing camps, hinting at a future where national interest trumps ideology and where alliances are more fluid than ever before. The question is no longer if the global balance of power will shift, but how fast, and at what cost. The stakes are high and the consequences could be felt worldwide. In this video we'll break down the origins of BRICS, the motivations behind Italy and Hungary's dramatic pivot, and the global reactions that have followed this historic announcement. The world is changing rapidly, and the choices made in Rome and Budapest could define not just their own futures, but the next era of international relations. Let's dive into this pivotal moment and explore what it means for Europe, for Boris and for BRICS, and for the world. BRIC began as an investment term in 2001, coined by Goldman Sachs to spotlight Brazil, Russia, India, and China as future economic giants. At the time, these four countries were seen as emerging markets with the potential to reshape the global economy, thanks to their rapid growth and vast populations. But what started as a financial concept soon evolved into a powerful political force. By 2009, the leaders of these nations were meeting face to face, demanding a bigger say in global institutions like the United Nations, the IMF, and the World Bank, challenging the dominance of established Western powers. In 2010, South Africa joined the group, turning BRIC into BRICS and giving the alliance a strategic foothold on the African continent. This move expanded the group's influence and signaled its intention to represent the interests of the global South. The bloc took a bold step in 2014 by launching its own development bank and reserve fund, directly challenging the Western-led IMF and World Bank. These institutions aim to provide financial alternatives and support for developing nations, further strengthening BRICS' global role. The real turning point came in 2024 when Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia joined, transforming BRICS into BRICS+. This expansion marked a dramatic shift both in the group's size and its global ambitions. Now, the bloc represents nearly half the world's population and commands a major share of global GDP and oil production. With these new members, BRICS+ has become a key player in energy markets and international trade, amplifying its economic clout. BRICS+ has become a magnet for countries seeking alternatives to Western dominance, attracting interest from nations across Asia, Africa, and even Europe. Italy and Hungary's interest underscores the bloc's growing appeal as a new center of global power. Their potential membership signals a shift in Europe's approach to global alliances and economic partnerships. What began as a simple acronym is now a formidable alliance, actively reshaping the world's balance of power and challenging the status quo. The stage is set for a new era of multipolar competition, where influence is shared among several powerful blocs rather than dominated by one. And Europe is no longer on the sidelines as the world's alliances and rivalries are being redrawn before our eyes. Italy's pivot to BRICS Plus is driven by economic frustration and a desire for new opportunities. Decades of stagnation and EU fiscal rules have left Italy searching for growth. BRICS Plus offers access to vast new markets and energy supplies, especially from Asia and the Middle East. The government frames this as pragmatic, not a rejection of the West but a bid to diversify and prosper. Behind the scenes, industrialists and nationalists see BRICS Plus as a way to bypass EU constraints and secure funding for infrastructure. Italy has requested dialogue partner status, testing the waters before committing fully. It's a delicate balancing act, seeking economic gains without alienating traditional allies. The outcome will hinge on whether the rewards outweigh the risks of straining ties with Europe and the US. Hungary's move is less surprising but just as significant. Prime Minister Orbán's Eastern opening policy has long challenged EU consensus, favoring closer ties with Russia, China, and now BRICS Plus. For Hungary, this is about sovereignty, pursuing national interests even if they clash with the West. Orbán champions a multipolar world and rejects the liberal international order. Hungary's application for dialogue partner status is explicit. It wants full BRICS Plus membership. The country has already attracted major Chinese investment and sees BRICS Plus as a way to boost its economy and autonomy. Access to the new development bank could reduce reliance on EU funds, which often come with political strings. Hungary is betting that deeper ties with the East will bring more security and prosperity than sticking to a rigid Western alliance. If Italy and Hungary join BRICS Plus, global trade flows could shift dramatically, marking a significant turning point in the international economic landscape. This move would not only alter existing alliances, but could also reshape the very foundations of how nations exchange goods and services. BRICS Plus already accounts for over 30% of global GDP, a figure that continues to grow as more countries express interest in joining the bloc. This expanding economic footprint signals a shift in the balance of power away from traditional Western economies. Adding Italy's economy would make the bloc an even stronger counterweight to the G7, intensifying competition and potentially leading to new trade policies and alliances that could redefine global economic priorities. Italian and Hungarian firms would gain access to a market of 3.5 billion people, potentially boosting exports and jobs. This expanded reach could open doors for new industries, foster innovation, and create fresh opportunities for growth in sectors ranging from manufacturing to technology. The bloc aims to use local currencies in trade, challenging the dominance of the US dollar and accelerating de-dollarization. This shift could make international transactions more accessible and reduce reliance on a single global currency, impacting financial systems worldwide. Participation in the new development bank would increase its global influence, offering alternatives to Western-led financial institutions. This could provide member countries with more favorable financing options and encourage investment in infrastructure and development projects. But the risks are real. Supply chains could fragment, costs could rise, and economic retaliation from the EU or US is possible. Companies may face new barriers, and consumers could see higher prices as a result of shifting alliances. Tying fortunes to a diverse group like BRICS Plus brings uncertainty, especially if major partners like China face downturns. Economic instability in one member could ripple across the entire bloc, affecting growth and stability. The era of a single, integrated global market may be ending, giving way to a world of competing blocs and shifting alliances. This fragmentation could redefine how countries cooperate and compete on the world stage. Italy and Hungary must weigh the promise of new opportunities against the threat of economic and political backlash. Their decisions could set a precedent for other nations considering similar moves, influencing the future of European and global trade. The stakes for global trade have never been higher. The world is watching as these pivotal choices unfold, with the potential to reshape the economic order for years to come. The geopolitical impact of Italy and Hungary's pivot is profound. Their move fractures EU unity and challenges NATO's cohesion, raising doubts about collective defense. How can NATO rely on members deepening ties with rivals like Russia and China? This accelerates the shift to a multipolar world, legitimizing BRICS Plus as a true alternative to the West. Other nations may follow, seeking to hedge their bets and maximize their interests. The result, a more fluid, unpredictable global system, with shifting coalitions and fierce competition for influence. The old Cold War lines are gone, replaced by a complex, fragmented chessboard. The world's power map is being redrawn in real time. Washington is alarmed. Officially, the US urges unity, but behind the scenes it's scrambling to contain the fallout. Italy's move is seen as a blow to transatlantic solidarity and a threat to the alliance system that has anchored US foreign policy for decades. The fear: Italy and Hungary could become Trojan horses within the EU and NATO, undermining sanctions and sharing sensitive information with rivals. The US will use diplomatic pressure and incentives to keep them in the Western fold, but punitive measures could backfire. The dilemma: discipline wayward allies without breaking the alliance. The bigger worry is strategic. If BRICS Plus appeals even to Western nations, the US-led order could lose its global allure. The contest is no longer just about democracy versus autocracy, but about competing models of development and governance. Washington can no longer take its allies' loyalty for granted. The transatlantic rift is real and growing. The world is entering uncharted territory. The stakes for US leadership have never been higher. Brussels is in crisis mode. The EU's foreign policy chief has called an emergency meeting, warning that unity is at risk. Italy and Hungary's move is the most severe challenge yet to the EU's common foreign policy. The EU's tools are limited: political pressure and financial leverage, but little legal power to force alignment. Threatening to withhold funds could backfire, fueling anti-EU sentiment and deepening divisions. France, Germany, and frontline states are alarmed, seeing this as a betrayal and a security risk. Some southern and eastern members quietly sympathize, exposing deeper fault lines. The crisis forces the EU to confront its identity. Is it a true union or just a collection of nation-states? The response will shape the future of European integration. The debate over unity versus flexibility is now unavoidable. Italy and Hungary's BRICS Plus pivot marks a turning point in global politics. The post-Cold War era of Western dominance is over. A new, multipolar world is emerging. For Italy, it's an economic gamble. For Hungary, an ideological stand. For BRICS Plus, a strategic victory. The consequences: shifting trade, weakened EU and NATO cohesion, and a more fragmented world order. Washington and Brussels are anxious, scrambling to prevent a permanent rupture. The coming months will be a test of diplomacy and resolve. The world is at a crossroads, and the choices made now will shape the future. In this new era of competing poles, the meaning of security is up for debate.